Hi, welcome to the Midlife channel. So in my last episode, I have put up a banner and then a very small intro, and I got interestingly a few emails about the same. Some people are confused. At the same time, I got also some extra likes, for the same. So I thought of discussing. This is something is not an act to offend anyone. This is something I would like to pass on a message saying so that when we developers work, we have to work responsibly. The big picture is you work, end of the day, you are a developer of a company. You are just a slave of the company. Okay, so when you join, you sign in the appointment letter saying that, whatever the tasks they assign, I'm going to work for the same. At the same time, if they want to relocate you or if they want to do anything, the company whoever is hiring you, you are agreeing all these terms and then you are joining that company, and at the same time you are also signing their NDA and other stuff. So you should understand, no matter how much experienced in your career, this is the same thing whether you are joining as a fresher in a company or else you have around 10-15 years of experience, you are joining as a manager or something, or else you are joining as a VP, CEO or whatever. Okay, in the case of CEO, if he is not having any stake of that company, then what happens is he's like any other employee in the company, and he will have pressure. He need to meet the deadlines, he need to meet all that roadmap and that whatever the mission is put forward. Okay, so obviously who is going to put a check on a CEO is going to be the shareholders of the company, the board of directors and the investors of the company is going to put that pressure, so that he need to meet all these challenging demands. Which is why, to emphasize this, I put a very explicit ways mentioning that most of you who are watching this channel is just a software developer or a programmer who is working for a company as a slave. So this itself is an act to kind of make you self-aware of this big picture. You are just a software developer, and as a software programmer, you should also focus on one thing: is you don't have any clue about how this thing is getting sold to the end consumers. Okay, so most of the times you will work on a product, but finally it is consumed by an end consumer. So when you build your career, you have to keep this aspect in the mind. Okay, the entire objective of this video is men as far as considered than women, once they reach 35 years of old or 38 or 40 years of old, including me. Okay, they get this midlife crisis. This is not something much happens in the case of women. Okay, women have different phases of their life. Women are completely different from men. If you think about women when they are in the college, when they are in the teen, they act more mature than men, versus men will be behind showing off his stuff or else chasing women and other stuff. Okay, so men are childlike at that age, but men, as they grow older and older, they tend to get more mature. They tend to get more mature in a different level than women, versus women, initially they will be very hardcore, they may be very mature, but as they get older, when they get older, like 45 years, 50 years of old, they get childlike, sort of a nature. Plus they will have that maturity in place, but still they will become more free. They will be more free to communicate with others. So they will be more free in terms of expressing themselves in a different way, versus when you take men into this consideration. Okay, in the tech industry, what is happening is we men, once they get around 35 years or 40 years of old, okay, they are having around 10-15 years of work experience, career experience. So if they are 35, they may have around 10 or 12 years of experience, and if they are around 38 to 40 years of age, they will have around 15 years or 17 or 18 years of work experience. So what happens is men will get this midlife crisis as well as existential crisis, versus women, they tend to get more busy with their kids and family life and other stuff. They will be no more childish, and they will be, they won't be like their teens and about partying and other stuff. They'll be more busy with other commitments. I'm talking globally. Let it be a situation in India, or let it be a situation elsewhere in the world. Okay, this is how the psychology of women is mostly. So they get very busy. Some women may even quit working a regular job. They may look after their family full time and stuff like that. So women, it depends. Some women of course do get midlife crisis, and also especially women when they get this menopause stages around 55 years or something like that, they again get sort of psychological issues as well as physical issues. They may get heartburns and flashing and other symptoms they may get in their vagina. So their the psychological stuff is associated with this physical transformation for women. So at that time again they will have some type of contemplation, versus men it is not the case. We can reproduce most of the times at any age. So we do have a different scenario here in the industry. What happens is when you are around 35 years or old or something, you may suddenly feel the company may think instead of keeping you in the job, they may think about replacing you with someone with less years of experience, maybe a newcomer. I'm not saying a fresher, I'm saying maybe a young guy who may be more dynamic than you, versus you, they may sort of think that you are like outdated and stuff. So this is quite common. Part of the reason I can also think is sometimes people tend to stick with something for quite a long time, and they don't explore outside what is happening. So we men again have this problem. We will be so much absorbed in our work. Most of them, sometimes I may include myself, and sometimes I'm not actually, because I'm kind of different in some cases. Okay, I'm a person, if something new comes, I completely throw away the old stuff sometimes and adopt it, and I don't mind doing it. Okay, so sometimes I will have psychological value. So say for instance, I use a fountain pen rather than a ballpoint pen. I stopped using a fountain pen after my school or something, and then after 16 years I felt I need to go back to my roots and I need to use a fountain pen. And similar way, I have some of my favorite stuff. It is quite different. So there are things like this. I would love to use something which is old tech, but I like there is some sort of connection behind this. But when it comes to new tech, you should understand, as we progress, we need to adapt to new stuff, and moreover, things are done in a different way in the past versus in the future. Things are going to change even more drastically. Okay, so we need to adopt. So this sometimes many men, I'm targeting men because most of the IT industry men dominate. So I need to mention about men most of the times, and I don't see this issue in women most of the cases. So women, as I said, we can exclude, we can talk about men. Most men, what they do, the mistake is they stick with something of their favorite tech, and then they spend excess amount of time. So they may discover this tech when they are at 25 years of old or 28 years of old, and then slowly they will be a fan of it, and they will stop exploring something which is going to replace this tech, which is cutting edge at that point of time when they are around 25 years of old, so of age or whatever, and now it may get outdated and going to get replaced for good with something new. So they slowly ignore this fact, and then they stick around this tech for a long time. And also one more issue I have found is many people, when they work in a company, they just work whatever the company throws at. So that is why I mean, developers being a slave of a company means they don't have their own personal identity. Okay, so they lack this personal identity, and end of the day, if you see their resume, let's just pick some paper lying around. This is not a resume, this is some calendar I just maintain. So if you pick their resume and if you go through a resume of a person who is in the industry for around a decade or more than a decade, okay, so he may be a manager or he may be any crap, I don't care actually. So if you explore all around his resume, everywhere he will mention that he worked in so and so company and then he gathered some experience by doing so and so projects, and that's it. Okay, apart from that you won't find anything interesting in their resume. Let it be a guy who worked in Microsoft, let it be a guy who worked in Cisco, or let it be a guy who worked in a small company. Okay, so his resume will only talk about his past experience and nothing which have anything that he have his own skill sets he gathered for over a period of time. So this is not about a guy working in a specific technology. I'm generally speaking about, let him be working in application domain, let him be working in banking, SAP, or let him be working in some ERP stuff, or let him be some sysadmin or a kernel programmer. So if you pick his resume, it will be filled with all these entries, and he lacks that individualism. End of the day, what happens is, they also crib and complain that I must have worked in some cutting edge technology, but my company have not provided me a platform, and all this kind of stupid lame excuses they will put forward. So if you see, they lack that personal individualism or else their personal life. Okay, when it comes to career, you have one aspect is you are working as an employee to the company, and 9 to 8 job, whatever you do there, you are done with the job, and after that you have your own private life. You need to focus also about your other aspects of your career. You need to recharge your batteries, and you need to focus about other aspects of your career. But most of them fail to do, and then when they reach that prime age of when they reach that age of around 35 or 40 years of age, then they start realizing all these things, because this is not a domain like some kind of government service or something like that which existed long back. Okay, so the IT industry is completely dynamic. You can retire at any age. You want to retire, you can retire at the age of 30 years, provided you have secured enough amount of money through business or whatever it is, and you can retire and you can sit and eat. Or if you are around 45 years, you can retire, or else at the age of 50 years, or else you can work forever. To be frank, you can work forever as a consultant. Even if you are at 60 years age, 70 years age, still you can contribute. You can it's not a question of earning money. You can just you can have a good time as a part of your career. At the same time, you can contribute to the society and stuff. So there is no limit at what extent you can work for you can work as a part of your career. So there is no such thing as such. So this is what something they fail to understand, and then what happens is they will get excess absorbed by the companies where they work, and then whatever they throw and put forward, and then they fail to explore what is happening in the other parts of that industry, or else the big picture. So that is why I have mentioned this in the banner, so that you understand, if you are interested in getting into entrepreneurship, or if you are interested into starting your own venture, you can explore the same. Don't always crib about some company saying that this it has failed to provide this opportunity or something like that. See, I mention in my videos because I got a wide audience. Sometimes the videos what I put forward is watched by young college professionals, or else just out of college freshers, or else someone who is around within their 30 years of age, or any age actually. So I need to mention these aspects which are happening in the industry, which are also things supposed to get transformed and supposed to get changed. So I mentioned about these aspects in the videos, but it is not something you as an experienced guy, you as being a guy in the industry, you need to morph yourself so that time to time discover your hidden talent and you can explore the other avenues. Okay, so which is why in the video as it transitions, you can see here the third slide, as it transitions, I have mentioned that you have no skills or else know how an entrepreneur sells this, software as a product for his customers, and at the same time, how the consumers or users are going to consume this or else use this in the real world. So we do use many times all these products. We use software products, we use even gadgets and stuff. So as a consumer, we have certain expectations. But when you work as a developer, I seen quite often developers miss this big picture. They just do something so that once they have done their project, once they have delivered their project, they just deliver it, and then some QA team reports some bugs, and then this developer, without having any common sense, each time he will be addressing these bugs given by the QA team and not seeing the big picture. If the developer thinks like a consumer, if the developer thinks like an entrepreneur, if the developer thinks like a end user using this product, he will know that these aspects can be done in a better way. Because when the user uses stuff, say for instance this Casio watch, this will be developed by some embedded guy or someone who is in the systems. If this is done by that, it may have some firmware. So as a user, I may find there are certain features quite easy to navigate, easy to traverse and change those settings, and some cases it may not be a bug, but I may find it difficult to change. So this is the sort of common sense the developer have to gain over the years. And when you reach the age of 35 to 40 years of age, you need to crystallize this aspect and you need to see the business aspect of that, because you are now transitioning from being a developer to an architect or something. One issue with Indians is every damn Indian wants to be a developer today and tomorrow is some stupid manager. So this is the thing which is ruining many guys in the IT industry. The reason is sometimes you are not a proper manager at all, but you may be a good architect. So you need to see that aspect. Sometimes you may not be fit for any technical job. Sometimes you may be fit to be an entrepreneur. You need to explore that aspect as well. Instead of doing this, we Indians sometimes or most of the times do this stupid corporate politics, and we ruin the career of many guys sitting under around, and then we tend to do all this other crappy stuff in a corporate world. So this is the thing should be changed. I mean to say India, but at the same time this is something happens throughout the world. But we see that we have our own, we Indians have our own different set of, work culture actually. So, the IT industry newly came from the West around a decade or 15 years back, and then slowly we have Indianized. Now we have our own sort of, approach actually, which is already there in the West is changed. They have moved forward and then they moved into other aspects of tech industry. But we stuck over here, and we in Indian IT industry have only objective is to work as an outsourcing firm, and we are stuck with this kind of licking someone's A and sucking someone's C actually. So this is what kind of ruining our IT industry. So what happens is, as you gain that number of years of experience in your field, as you hit around 35 to 40 years of age, just see how you can transition. You want to transition as a manager. The manager should have certain qualities. Please note, the manager also may think one day, instead of managing these guys, I will start my own company. Damn, being an entrepreneur is a complete different ball game. Sometimes you may be suited, sometimes you are good in terms of working under someone's A. That's all it is. Because you don't know how to see that bigger aspects of running the business. So that is also there. So you need to explore all these things. Sometimes you may be a very good manager, but you need to have something on top of you. You cannot work individual. So you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be alone, you have to take decisions alone. You can't discuss each and every crap with others. So being a boss, he need to take certain decisions alone, being a business person. So this may be a cup of tea, it may not be a cup of tea, and you don't need any damn MBA just to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes by nature you are a good entrepreneur, which is why I'm saying there are some, after you reach 35 years of age, you may be actually well suited to be an entrepreneur. You may be well suited to start your own venture and explore your options. And also there are certain aspects. There are some guys, they are very good in, architecting. They are very good in seeing the big picture, how I can approach this, requirement or a problem, and how I can architect. And then they can focus on those aspects than, being or trying to be some people management guy and then, ruining his career. So this is what I see many people doing this mistakes. I do have certain students have this midlife crisis, and I have even seen in my earlier companies, I have seen even a boss, manager. Of course, luckily I worked with several excellent Indian managers, to be frank, and they are really like my mentors actually. So unfortunately not everyone can get such opportunity, but at the same time I have also seen some really stupid managers who don't have any clue how to do people management at all. So this is what, so the managers should have a specific quality. The people management itself is, is meant for someone who is good enough in nature. You can't read it in books. You can't do just one PMP and try to scale yourself into manager or something. You should have that people management skills. And sometimes some people may have excellent architecting skills. They are very good at making new things, so they should explore those aspects of their career rather than being or sitting with this people management skills and then put forward your career or build yourself a career with all this people management stuff, and then after you touch 45 years of age, you don't know really again where to go next. So this again I have seen, because this guy, just because he have done people management, now he thinks, okay, I can quit this company, maybe now nothing is working out, I may start my own venture or something. So this is the sort of mistake. You may be good at people management, but you are not good at having your own establishment sometimes. So to conclude, if you are new to the industry, think of these aspects and put a roadmap besides, getting married to a good looking girl and settling somewhere and having your own home and other stuff. If you are very serious about your career, think about these aspects. Let you be working any, verticals or parallels. Let it be in systems, let it be in application, let it be in banking, let it be in any sector. Okay. When you join, initially sacrifice certain aspects and then try to go get into good companies, and also try to be within a good team or a manager. Sometimes the managers can act dual role. They can be very good mentors as well as they can be a good manager. So you can learn so many aspects from him, because he is going to guide you and he will mold you. Okay, when you are getting such a person above you, don't think of some stupid salary is less in this company and all those factors. Just try to be there and then try to get that sort of learning curve. Okay, sometimes he may be good in technical aspects also, so he will be a sort of good platform for you to gain your maturity and gain your knowledge and experience. So sometimes you need to sacrifice other aspects for this sake. And you can also start thinking, whatever you do, end of the day, end consumers are using them, okay? And it is sold by a business team, okay? So whatever you do, let it be, you be a person working in services industry. I have seen many guys working in this Indian outsourcing services industry, dreaming about getting into product companies, but they fail to see this big picture. Okay, so they just think, okay, I work here for another 3-4 years or 2 years, and then I start searching elsewhere my job, let it be Samsung, Microsoft, Cisco, or somewhere else. Okay, I'll start searching somewhere else, a product firm, and then I may get an opportunity, provided I build my skill sets, and when I'm ready, I can start looking for a job. Again, you are doing a mistake is, in the product companies, in the services industry, you are tuned to address the client requirements. Always they say that when that client gives a project to do this way, do that way, and count the number of lines of code, there is this QA team, which again up these projects, and there is also some type of, billing and other things. They really up all this kind of a process. So naturally what is that you are failing is to see the big picture. What you are working is a outsourced stuff from a product company. The product company is making that product so that you do this integration or software development or hardware development, whatever you do, that they make a complete finished product which should have a case, a cardboard box, user manual, everything, and then they sell it to the customers, and the customers are going to see that when they unbox it and when they experience this product, how it turns out. So you are working towards this path, and you are just a small piece of this entire big picture. So as you transition, you are going to choose these aspects, and you need to see that how you can materialize from here to something in the future. And same way, if you are watching this video, if you are around 35 years old and having a decade of experience, just think about whatever I spoke so far, and you are now have no option, but you need to contemplate your life. You need to think of why you are existing and what to do going forward. Are you stuck in a specific domain? Are you stuck in a specific company or a job nature? You need to explore yourselves. Sometimes being individual itself is going to give you a lot of peace. Like in my case, I've been in a corporate world. I have seen good things. I have enjoyed the life. At the same time, I have also seen extremely bad things, and I have also been a victim into several such situations and instances. Now what is the thing is, I now exist as an individual entity, so I don't have to go through all those things. I don't need to travel every day some 2 hours in the traffic like Bangalore or all those things. So I don't need to have all these aspects at all. I don't have anyone to judge my performance, yearly performance. I don't need to lick anyone's A or suck anyone's C and all that to get again a good promotion and a good hike, or else a job change, all this rubbish. Okay, I am individual, I am independent. All I do is I work whatever I like. Today I work. If I like to shoot a video of a specific topic, now I will shoot a specific topic, and suddenly I like something else to explore, I explore. Suddenly I want to discuss about some hot tech. Whoever I know, sometimes I ping them and then I talk. Besides teaching to my students, I do have a small circle of entrepreneurs as well as CEOs, CTOs and tech enthusiasts. Okay, sometimes they are even architects. Sometimes I do engage in such kind of interesting chat and then discuss what is happening in the industry. Sometimes I do give lot of inputs, and sometimes of course they do also give lot of inputs. Sometimes a CEO, he may have certain issues. Sometimes he openly discusses with me even some business aspects and some market competition and stuff like that. Sometimes we do have such discussions, and sometimes also we discuss about upcoming trends and how the industry is changing, and several interesting conversations we have. Okay, so I do discuss a lot of such interesting stuff with many VPs and CEOs and CTOs, and it's an interesting chat. It doesn't matter where they live. I have guys who are in Canada, US or anywhere, so we discuss these things. It's an interesting stuff. So I enjoy this way rather than being in some kind of corporate industry where I have my manager and each day he gives me some job and I need to report him every day, and sitting in all those useless and boring team meetings in every week and daily basis, and then managing some team and all that stuff. So I am kind of morphed into something like this where I do enjoy my work, and I don't feel sometimes a difference between the work life and the leisure life. So the leisure life, sometimes I do watch my videos, I go out with my wife and other stuff. And also as well, I read about some journals about up-to-date information, what is happening in the tech industry. I like generally things like that. Okay, so part of it, the work itself is leisure for me. Part of it, even teaching is a leisure for me. So many may assume that I am teaching very much like professional way. No, it's not. You need a professional way of teaching. Go to an institute or some stupid college or something. Okay, I don't teach in that way. I mentor them. I don't teach them. Okay, so I mentor my students. I give certain exercises if they are capable enough to explore certain things in the industry and get back their findings, and sometimes I may struck with something and then I may ask them to explore. Sometimes, of course, in that process I mentor them, I also teach them. So this is the way of lifestyle I have adopted by the time I have reached at this age. Okay, so this is a transformation happened from past 3 to 4 years, and there are both ups and downs. Sometimes yes, it is not a very good economically viable solution. Sometimes it is also, you can turn it into a very good platform in terms of sustaining yourself as well. It all depends how do you manage your assets and finances and other stuff. It takes some time. Initially I did some goof ups and I'm repenting now, but now I'm trying to kind of not to repeat those stupid mistakes which I have done in the past. So if you are inspired by the same, you can share your experiences, you can share your ideas and thoughts or your queries in YouTube comments, or else if you want to discuss with me in private, be in touch via mail. Thanks a lot for joining me. Stay tuned. Have a nice day. Bye bye.